Literally, the sun is so important for people's health. People have no idea how powerful the sun is to our body. Think about a plant, right? How it creates food from the sun and it grows straight up towards the sun. And yet everyone's spending so much time indoors these days that no wonder they are becoming like deficient of everything because they're not getting the thing that everything is created by, which is the sun.
Vitamin D, yeah, very, very important. But I mean, if you have large windows, you just open them and try to breathe as much as you can and catch the sun, these little sunspots that in your room that might be created by sunlight. I just, how cats always get in the middle of sunspot. That's me when it's sunny outside, but I can't go outside. So try to make the most of it.
Literally, my dog, right? She will go on my mum's bed and she will
Mhm.
find the smallest spot where the sun
Yes.
is. She will lie right there. And
Yeah.
I'm in the conservatory right now. As soon as the sun's out, she comes downstairs and just looks at me like, "You can open the door, what?" And she runs and jumps up here because she loves the sun. Like every animal loves the sun, trees love the sun, and yet humans aren't getting enough of the sun because it's like when it's too hot, we go indoors because it's aircon, and
Yeah.
then we're indoors for the most of the time anyway. But like
Yeah.
we're killing ourselves. No wonder we're getting diseases and dying because we're not giving our body what nature is telling us we need to have.
That's true. Yeah. Sun and in general interaction with nature does so well to our mental and physical health. So you're right. It's very important.
Just think about how happy people are when the sun's out. They get their barbecues out, they go
Mm,
to the beach, they
right.
walk, the trees are blowing. People are so happy when they're out in the sun, but yet they still go back to their old patterns of indoors. And it's like, you're happy outside, but you're still going indoors.
Hmm.
Why are you doing that? It's a psychological thing that people are so used to their patterns and set in their own ways that they have no idea that the change that they can do to change their life can be done just like that.
Have you ever noticed you feel a little bit or a lot tired after you've been exposed to direct sunlight for hours? Like,
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
drains you.
yeah, you need to find a balance. Like first it energizes you, but then after a while, like I can't stand direct sunlight for a long, long time. I don't know, probably my limit is an hour and a half, and then I want to go into the shadow, but I can still stay outside, obviously. But yeah, after a day of sunbathing, I usually feel like, oh my God, it seems like I've been working out the whole day long, even though I was lying on the beach. And I was like, what's that about?
Yeah, so the sunlight heats your whole body up, so it has to work harder to keep it cool, and that
Mm,
requires energy.
yeah.
So yeah, having sun is important, but having too much is also very tiring. But
Yeah.
people think, okay, well, the sun's out. I need to sunbathe for like 7 hours to get vitamin D. You just need to be out there for an hour. Like the lions and all the tigers in like safari and stuff, when it's the hottest part of the day, they go underneath the tree.
True.
But yeah, humans come out at the hottest part of the day, and then we'll get skin cancer and die. We're wondering why. That
Yeah.
is why.
Yeah. Sunscreen is a very important protection, and then yeah, you have to choose the hours wisely. Early in the morning is magical. Like if you are able to wake up early, there's nobody out, and it's beautiful. The warmth is very gentle, so yeah, that's what I like.
So
Or at the sunset.
are you all about waking up early or waking up late so you miss that peak of humans becoming aware and all the energy from themselves like taking over the atmosphere so when you wake up there's no like human energy, if that makes sense?
Yeah. You know what? Recently, my habit changed, and I'm so happy about that because need I used to wake up quite late, like 9 a.m., because I'm a freelance photographer, so I can regulate my schedule accordingly to my patterns, my habits, my energy, and that's wonderful. But I always wanted to wake up a little bit earlier, and I couldn't. I would go to bed early, and I still couldn't. But that changed a couple of weeks ago, and I'm so happy about that. So I'm able to dedicate that morning time to some exercise or just setting the intentions for the day. And I've been feeling really good about that.
I used to be someone who used to work on my computer all night, literally from like seven
Yeah.
in the evening all the way till like 5 in the morning, right? And I
Mhm.
realize now that it's because, as I said, the human EMF is down, which means I'm able to focus clearly and think clearly and channel my energy clearer. And it makes sense why I always worked at night time. And then I realized, okay, I'm getting up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm out of sync with the rest of the world. So I started to go clubbing at 11 o'clock because to me, that was like 5 o'clock. And I get back at 4 o'clock from the clubs and I was just out of sync. And then I went through a phase of getting up at sunrise, and
Yeah.
going to bed at sunset, just to see, okay, well, if everything else in nature does this pattern, I wonder how it would feel for me.
Yeah.
And then I realized that getting up really, really early and then still being awake until like 8 o'clock in the evening is draining because most people they have some stuff to do. And because I work for myself or used to work for myself, I'm like, okay, I've done this. Now what do I do? So I was ready to go to bed at like 12 at lunchtime. And so I realized, okay, maybe I can't be getting up at this early as much as I would love to, because it's just not realistic for someone like me. So now I wake up naturally at around 8:15 every morning and I go to bed at 11:30 every night. As soon as it hits 30, TV's off. I put my YouTube stuff on with like,
Yeah.
all my YouTube, you are creative videos and like your universe. I don't even know about that stuff, law of attraction bollocks. And I'm listening to it all through the night, and I wake up sort of. I know why the Stonehenge was there, and I don't even remember because it was on my YouTube video. Do you believe in listening to stuff whilst you sleep, like knowledge YouTube videos and shit?
I've never tried it, but I was thinking about it recently actually. Should I like listen to something? Does it work? It works.
Let me tell you, right? I know 90% of the stuff that I know from listening into it whilst I was asleep. And I wake
Amazing.
up the next day thinking about something and I have no idea why. And then I look back at my history and I'm like, that is why. So I have the answers already because I've already listened to it. So I'm
Amazing.
consciously thinking about, Stonehenge and how they used the vibration of the
It's like
rock.
Matrix. You upload the information in your brain.
Literally, right? It's like you're not even aware that someone's put like a USB chip in your brain. So I,
Yeah.
I listened to it all through the night, hours and hours and hours and hours of every bit of knowledge. I wake up and now I have all this knowledge and I've no idea how or why or where from, and then I teach it.
Do
I
you
mean,
use an alarm to wake up?
no.
No, me neither. That's the key. That what I wanted to reach was to listen to my body and make it wake up at an earlier hour. And now I wake up at 6:30, 7. It depends, but yeah, it's incredible. It's a transition I've been going through, and I hope it sticks because it's
Like
very new.
people, they set an alarm because they've got to get up for work, and
Yeah,
your brain needs as much sleep as it needs, and you
yeah.
don't realize whether you are 2 hours deprived, 3 hours deprived, or 45 minutes because you always get up at the same time. And there's no such thing as we need 8 hours. It all depends on how much brain activity you've used during the day. Like when I do podcasts, I have 10 hours sleep all the way through. But when I used to have nothing to do all day, I used to wake up after like 7 hours and I was fine. So it's circumstantial based on brain activity. And I've not been setting alarms since I was 21, which is when I was awoke and I was enlightened and I learned all these YouTube stuff and videos, law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
I've not set an alarm since, because I know I need to wake up when my brain has had enough sleep. And sometimes it
Yeah.
could be 9 hours, sometimes it could be 10. And I don't know. I just have to sleep and then I wake up naturally. And I realize if I wake up an hour before I was supposed to, in terms of when I would normally wake up, I can feel the toxins in my brain, and you have
Mm-hmm.
that drain feeling in your like forehead. I can't explain it, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel shit throughout the day. And if I have the amount of sleep I need, I can literally get up and start doing my day immediately. Whereas if I
Yeah.
haven't had that extra hour,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, just I'm gonna relax in bed a little bit, and then I fall off again, and it's just awful.
Yeah, the day goes wrong. It's just since the beginning. Yeah. It's amazing how our brain keeps working while we are asleep. It kind of cleans up all the unnecessary bits and bobs and strengthens some neuron connections that were built throughout the day. And now I've discovered that there is even space to be able to learn new things. That's
Yes. So there's obviously two parts of our brain, and there's lots of different functions in the brain. The brain that you use when you are listening is different to the part of the brain that you use when you are storing information and learning. So I
Mm-hmm.
can rest the part of my brain that I've been using during the day to do podcasts and retain information. But then my ears are listening to new information, which is a different part of the brain. It's almost like you've got a hard drive, a terabyte hard drive. Half the hard drive is kind of separated for your whatever, and then the other half is just like, I don't know how they call it, but you can use, like, you can partition the hard drive
Mm-hmm.
where you've got another half left for when you need it, but you only use the other half. So I listen to stuff during when I'm sleeping. One
Mm-hmm.
part of the brain's learning so much knowledge, which saves me time during the day, by the way, because imagine listening to 8 hours of YouTube videos every single day. I ain't you've got the time for that, but I can learn 8 hours every night, right? Plus, I can actually rest my brain from all the energy I've used during the day before. So I'm getting the best of both worlds. Hence why I'm so fucking smart, because I've been listening to YouTube videos since I was 21, learning every bit of knowledge you can imagine, like how pasta's made, how glass is made. Like if I had a question, I'd learn it
Yeah.
immediately, and it's amazing. When
Yeah.
you get
Have you
good
tried
sleep.
learning languages like that?
So I tried to do that, but again, I didn't really want to learn Chinese, for example. So my brain didn't absorb it as if it would if I wanted to.
Okay.
So I have obviously heard about that, and that's why I started to listen to it whilst I was asleep, because
Mm-hmm.
they say you could learn a language whilst you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Just imagine waking up and going, "Hello, malakoti, polakati, hello, homare tomorrow." Fuck me. What does that even mean? And some Chinese man's like, ask me for the blowjob. I'm said, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's like, yeah, technically it should be exactly the same. Where you just suddenly start speaking it and you don't know what you're saying. Like when I'm thinking about the pyramids and shit, I'm like, how do I know that they got there from here? And it's all for the video. So I recommend to anyone,
Yeah.
learn whilst you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm. I will try that. How do you manage to? Do you use earplugs? Sorry, earphones, or you just like put it up on speaker and
I
listen?
used to put it on my iPhone, but then my
Yeah.
battery used to just die and
I.
drain. Like it fucked up the
Uh-huh.
battery. So now what I do is I put it on my TV, and then
Yeah.
my TV shuts down after 2 hours. So I put on
Okay.
the video, I follow it, I fall asleep, I follow to the end of the video, and the TV shuts down. It's perfect. Otherwise, my phone's on all night, and iPhone batteries go from like 100 to literally my iPhone was dead because I was doing it every night.
I know. Yeah, I can imagine. I was wondering because, like, if you sleep with a partner, then you can't really use the volume, so you have to use headphones.
You get like little Bluetooth earphones and just put them in your ear, or you put the phone by your head whilst you're sleeping, so you're listening to it. So it's quiet to the guy next to you,
Yeah.
but because it's right next to your ear, it's really quiet, but you can still hear it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I used to do. Yeah,
You know
amazing.
what
It's
I've tried though? Those one of those apps that does like white noise or delta waves things while you're sleeping to improve the quality of your sleep. And that's that. I mean, I don't have any problems. I sleep perfectly well, and I feel well rested. But was an experiment and was a nice one. Yeah, I felt the difference. I needed less time to feel energized.
yeah, like I sleep all the way through,
Hmm.
always,
Hmm.
like 8 to 10 hours every night. So
Hmm.
there's an hour bit before you wake up where you sort of become awake if your time's toss and turn. That's your brain sort of getting ready to become awake. That's not, I don't call that waking up.
Yeah,
That's not like people wake up at 4 in the morning and get up at 8. No,
yeah,
that's just naturally. I've had enough, but my brain needs to wake up naturally, like dishwasher. It's the end bit where the steam is starting to dry the plates. You need that
yeah,
steam bit. That's like the end of the washing cycle. And
yeah.
it's crazy how people, I mean, probably like less than 0.5% of people. That's probably not true. If you think about like Iran, all those countries where there's so many people just going out in the streets and stuff, they probably wake up naturally. So I was going to say about 0.5 probably actually don't set alarms.
Mhm.
But when you think about America and England and busy countries, they set alarms. But Eastern European countries where they don't really do much, I suppose they probably would wake up naturally. And often they're smarter than all of us because they've been following their traditions for many, many, many more years than us, like Egyptians and Iran. It's all connected, same region.
Mhm.
And yeah, they're the smart ones, even though their life is so simple.
Mhm. Because I mean, we all have to listen to our bodies. Our bodies never lie, and but with the rhythm that we have to keep up to with this in these busy countries that you mentioned, no. not everybody can afford that, or we kind of forgot about how important that is. The other day I went to a concert, and this singer girl, she asked, who gets enough of hours of sleep every day? And I did, but I was kind of, I looked around, nobody said or like one person said two. It was kind of embarrassing to tell that I actually allow myself to sleep enough, because it's kind of, then you're considered not to be productive, or like, or you're considered to be lazy. I don't know. There is this weird, this weird culture of, not getting enough sleep being cool, you know? Through my university years, I used to sleep 5 hours a day because I had so much things to study. I needed to like keep up with the level that was set up because I was really behind. And yeah, I remember like all the teachers saying, so like, why do you need the sleep for? You can sleep when I don't know, when you're dead or whatever.
Fucking idiots.
Yeah, and it was kind of, if you slept 8 hours, or, the normal amount, it was not cool. And it's still out there, this weird philosophy and
I'll
belief.
tell I'll tell you why that is. Most people follow, most people are weak, most people are sheep, most people are employees. They follow the
Yeah,
patterns of everyone else around them, sleep deprived. Naturally, we want to fit into our environment. We want to fit
yeah,
into the surroundings. So the owl will go to a tree that is the same colour as him. Loads of white sheep hang around white sheep, and the black sheep will feel left out and he'll find his own black sheep. If everyone around you is not getting enough sleep, that's just another way to confide in your peers. It's like
mhm,
smoking. Eventually everyone does start to smoke because you're the only one not. So you don't
yeah,
fit in. You want to fit in. If none of your friends, if all your colleagues come to work and they say, "Oh, I feel so shit. It's such a bad night." Me too, man. Bloody hell. There was a fox making a noise. It was fucking another fox. There was boy racers in the car park driving. I had a shit night. Me too. Now you feel connected. You're now confiding with that other
yeah,
retard employee who has 5 hours sleep. And now and so now it's like a form of comfort. It's almost like, my parents got a disease. Oh, so's my parent, and you sort of confide in each other. You don't want the parent to have a disease, so sort it out. Don't confide in it. And yeah, sleep is the same thing. We confide in the fact that we all fell shit or we all had a bad night's sleep, so we don't feel as bad. We don't find a solution or fix the problem like getting good sleep. We
yeah.
have to just confide in each other. And again, if one person starts getting enough sleep, you resent that person. You start to hate that person. Oh, she's a snob. She has 9 hours sleep. I have six.
Yeah,
She's a
like,
lazy fuck. It's got nothing to do with that. You need sleep.
it's
It's the most
about
important.
priorities. Like, I will just watch one episode less of a shitty series I've been following, but I will get more sleep. And it's not that I am not a busy person, it's just I know how to prioritize, and sleep is very important. So I put it as my priority, and I make it to be able to sleep enough because I care about my brain,
Lit-
man.
Literally, it's the difference between going to bed after 5 episodes of, say, a Netflix series compared to six. It's a discipline thing. There's no need for you to stay up and watch another hour because
Yeah,
it's going to be fucking millions of episodes of shit for the rest of your life. I
yeah.
think to myself, the quicker I go to sleep, the quicker I can wake up and start the series again. People, it's almost like they feel like they've not had their own time during the day because they've been working for the boss. Now it's my time, so I'm going to stop and watch Netflix because it's my time. Yeah,
Mhm.
it is your time, but like no one's punishing you for, working for somebody during the day where you have to sort of stay up during the night to enjoy yourself. Like it's the reality of your life. If you don't like the fact that you've not got any me time, work for yourself. And obviously working for yourself is easier said than done because you can't just work for yourself. But if you're fortunate enough where you can, you should. Um,
Or
but
you
yeah,
should just prioritize. I mean, work for whatever. Just do something that you enjoy, and the rest of the time you need to distribute it in a manner that the priorities are set up right, correctly.
yeah.
So,
I
and
literally,
yeah.
I literally just went off in a different world then. When you suddenly like driving your car and you
Hmm.
suddenly realize you've just traveled like say, I don't know, 3 miles and you don't remember because you've been in your head.
Yeah.
I don't know where I went then. I was probably visioning about sleep or something or some whatever. I just went off in another world. Do you ever
Hmm.
do that? Where you just sort of like
I
just go
do.
to like another world and sort of like, what the fuck? Like, ah,
Absolutely, yeah. When I watch yeah, watch videos or talk to people, sometimes I would just switch off and then like come back and say, sorry, need to reconnect. Yeah, but that's normal, I guess. It's just got we get in that way with our thoughts in our head.
what's your, do you drink lots of water?
Recently, again, yeah, I have this bottle with me. It's 1 liter, and yeah, good. That has really changed my drinking habit because you don't need to open this thing. You just kind of drink, and that's it. And I'm not afraid to pour it on my computer or whatever. And yeah, when you have it next to you, you just make it your habit to drink, and that really impacts the health as well so much. I regularly donate blood, but I have low blood pressure. So the last time I went in, the doctor said you just need to drink more water because the more liquid you have in your body, the it's physics matter. The blood goes faster through your veins because there is more liquid, because part of water becomes mixed with your blood. I'm not expert on chemistry, but that's how she simply tried to explain it to me. And so your blood pressure rises. You don't need coffee or any of that stuff. You just need more liquid. And then of course to wash out all the toxins from your body and feel more energized.
So are you saying that water increases the blood pressure or decreases it?
Increases, yeah.
Increases blood pressure. Is that good or bad?
It depends. If I am somebody who has a low blood pressure, so I need to rise it. And if I drink more water, there is more liquid in me, and so by the laws of nature, like can you imagine a vein and blood running through it? If you add more liquid, it will run faster, and that's the blood pressure. So she said, I think it works because I feel much better.
Right. So when you say increased blood pressure, you mean for you, you're just getting to the normal state. You're not saying that it's increasing blood pressure, which is bad because having high blood pressure is bad. You're saying it
Yeah.
neutralizes yours.
Yes, yes. It makes mine get to the normal values, because I have it quite low. And when you have low blood pressure, there are also some symptoms that are not very pleasant. I mean, high blood pressure brings more risks for health than low blood pressure, but it's still not a pleasant thing to do because I often feel tired, especially in the mornings. I used to. I felt like I needed more sleep average than people need on average. That's one of the symptoms as well.
And also, people don't drink enough water. They don't drink enough fluid, period, but let alone water. And just having this, it's a psychological thing where your brain
Yep,
has to finish it and then you have to fill it up when it's empty. It's almost like you can't allow this to be empty because
it's
you
true.
can't allow your body to be empty because you need water to live. So it's like, this is my body. If this is empty, my body is empty. So I need to fill this up because then I drink it and then my body fills itself up, and the body can have 6 liters of water or something
Mhm.
like that, and the stomach can hold, I think it's 1.6 liters of fluid or whatever. So you think about this: your stomach can hold this alone, your body can hold 6 liters or something. So if you drink this, it still is only 1/6 of the water in your body. Keep drinking it. Don't think that 1 liter is enough. Like the more water the plant has, the bigger the plant grows. We're
Yeah,
no different. We can remove toxins quicker, and as you said, the blood can flow quicker, which means everything can happen quicker and more efficiently. And something like this is incredible. And I use filtered water. Only
mm,
recently have I been starting to use filtered water, but it does taste so much better than tap water. And that's also one of the reasons why people might not drink much water, because tap water tastes like shit. And they can't afford to keep spending like £1 on some bottle of water. Think about it, a
yeah,
pound for 500 millilitres. That is £2 just for this. And if I drink two of these a day, that's £4 a day. That's like
yeah.
7, 14, 21, £30 a week. No one can afford that. Oh, but a Red Bull, oh, 30p. knockoff, like a knockoff, like fake Red Bull one, like a own brand one. Oh, I've
Yeah,
got the
yeah,
energy. I feel great. You're fucking killing yourself, mate.
yeah, I know. I totally agree. I use filtered water as well, also to like reduce the plastic consumption. I feel it's important, and it's so easy to just buy and change filters. And I guess it's more sustainable. And then yeah, I use this and I bring it around with me. If this is too heavy and I go out, I bring my I found this soft bottle thing. It contains half a liter, and when it's empty, you can just
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
put
Yeah,
it in my purse because
yeah.
I often go out with a small purse. So when it's empty, I just tuck it in my purse. It fits perfectly.
See, that's a great idea because otherwise you've got a massive thing like this in your
Yeah,
bag and there's
yeah.
no water in it. Um, at what point do you think that water from the main supply is gonna run out through whether electricity goes down or you just can't keep up with the demand of water or all the shit in the water to make it clean ends up hurting us? At what point are people going to literally have to sort of have their own water supply in their garden, which filters out through their own filter system? Because I think that everything is coming localized now. You're
Hmm.
seeing that the world can't cope with looking after all the humans, so everyone's going to start growing their own food, having their own water. I mean, I don't know what you have in your country, but in England we have this like barrel, and the water goes to like a gutter, and it goes into the barrel, and then you would like twiddle it at the bottom to fill up your watering can. Well, there's no reason why you can't have like a filter system and use that for your own water.
Hmm. I have no idea, mate. I've been to a water purifying plant here in Milan, and it's pretty cool, like to see how these things work. And what they do is they take all of the city's dirty water, and they clean it out in different stages. They use some bacteria to like that eats the dirt, and then they manage to make it clean, and it fits to water the fields. Like you can't drink it, but they put it out in the fields. It's clean enough to for the plants.
Tap water, yeah, is sewage water that goes through so many like
Is it?
different. Yeah, literally, if you Google where did your tap water come from, it's sewage water, and there's like 100 different filter steps and chemicals and shit like that, and it comes out of our tap. It literally is what you flush down your toilet,
I'm
and
not
that's what we
sure it's
drink.
that way in Italy though.
In England, it is. I don't know what it's like around the world. Maybe you do have water that comes from rocks and mountains, but in
Exactly,
England,
because
it comes from the sewage.
England is an UK is an island, so that's you have limited supply, I guess. And but in Italy, they are fortunate because they have mountains and a lot of water, mineral water resources as well. So I think, as far as I remember from that tour from the water recycling plant, what comes out of the tap is not sewage water. So
See,
we're lucky.
See, I,
Yeah.
my goal, my dream in the next 3 years is to take over James Corden's Late Late Show, and then
Yeah.
eventually take over the Tonight Show, right? So I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, when I move out there in LA, right, is
Mm-hmm.
there gonna be is there gonna be water that's pure enough for me? I know you see like hot countries, they use it from the mountains or whatever, but
Yeah.
because LA is hot all the time,
Yeah.
like people, like, is there enough? Is the water good enough out there? Because LA is like London, it's like just cars and shitty and but is it going to be pure enough for me?
Have you ever heard that there are people who they taste water as a profession?
No.
They do that. Can you imagine the sensibility of their tongue, the taste buds? It's incredible. They can say the difference with the chemical, ingredients that there are in different types of water. I think it's incredible.
Literally, if you filter out waters and then taste tap water and then soft water, you literally can taste the difference. Like there
Yeah.
is different tasting water, and it's only when you have like filtered water that you really taste the difference. Like it's phenomenal. It's like in the school playground, there's a water fountain. It's
Mhm,
metal, right? So
mhm.
all metal pipes, really old. I used to drink from it. It used to taste of blood, iron, metal basically. And I
Yeah.
taste something like that in my bottle, and it tastes literally like bottled water you would get from the supermarket, which is
Mhm,
obviously mountain or as it says. But
mhm.
the difference is phenomenal. And actually, it tastes so nice, water. People say water doesn't taste nice. That's because I'm not surprised. It's come from a fucking tap that's been there since your fucking nan moved in 60 years ago. Like, you've not changed the pipe. Like, that has to come through somewhere. Like, fuck, it's ridiculous.
Or use a filter, right?
Yeah, like filters are
Balance.
pretty cheap, but it's the thing in the middle that you got to replace that's expensive.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
coffee machine. The coffee machine's like 20 quid, but bloody 10 capsules are 4 quid. And that's how they that's how they make their money.
Yeah, yeah. But it's worth it because it filters through, like balances out the water ingredients, and there is not too much calcium and stuff like that that could hurt you in the long run.
That's the thing. People spend so much money on like face creams and stuff for their skin and vitamins, and they don't spend much money on water, for example, like the filter thing. It's
Hmm.
like it's all back to front. Your skin won't be wrinkly if you had good water because you're hydrating it. All these fucking creams from MAC and all these big top brands, £40 for some shitty cream that will last about a week. You could get a filter for 3 months for that amount, and your skin would naturally be amazing because you're drinking water. Instead, you're putting cream on the top of your face. I'm not understanding that your skin grows from within.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just, everything's back to front, isn't it?
yeah. But it's, marketing, man. It's the force of marketing.
So,
I
go
Yeah, there is this show. There is this show that's called, I can't remember his name, but the title is like, I don't know, let's say his name is Edward. Edward ruins everything. So there's this guy who just, it's a comic series, and he comes out and ruins all of this, presumptuously romantic moments or whatever. And one of the episodes was dedicated to diamonds and the tradition of giving the engagement ring. And he basically explained that it was the most successful marketing campaign of all times, because there was no habit of giving an engagement ring before the 20s. But then this smart man invented that it has to be a tradition. Otherwise, it's like, it's not cool, it's not acceptable. You have to give your fiance a diamond ring when you propose. And since then, it's become a habit all over the world. It's fucking marketing.
literally, everything is about supply and demand somewhere along the line. Like the fact that you have to spend two fucking grand on an engagement ring and then fucking 2 grand on the actual ring and then 10 grand on the wedding,
Yeah,
and that's like money that will take like 20 years to pay off or whatever. It's just fucking stupid. Again, it's like the sleep pattern at school. Your colleagues, they follow the patterns of, well, if she's got 6 hours sleep, then I'm lazy if I have seven. It's almost like you don't want to say you slept in for 8 hours because they'll be like, Maureen's so fucking lazy. She had 8 hours last night. Man, who she thinks she is? And it's very, very stupid. But have you noticed right now the air quality is amazing?
I
I don't know
know.
whether it's just England or if it's a
Yeah,
universal thing, but
I,
I go outside, the air's amazing, it's calm, it's clean, it's quiet,
yeah,
and it's like, wow, the noise of the cars on the road, even though you can't see them, creates like a buzz in the atmosphere. All the stuff and the smoke from restaurants and everything, it's all going up. And the fact that he's had a few days to keep going up, that now this distance between like where we are and say, I don't know, 50 meters up, it's pure oxygen, literally.
I know.
And it makes me wonder, maybe every problem is being created by man. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's quite incredible, and it'd be interesting to see what happens when we start going back to work and how the air changes. Like, for example, I heard about there's whales and dolphins swimming through a certain river that was normally cluttered with bullshit, basically, and now
yeah,
the animals are starting to swim through.
yeah.
Like, that's not a coincidence, and it'd be interesting to see what happens when we go back to work and where those animals go. And then you think about the coral, and then you think about trees and how like the gases in the atmosphere affect trees
Mhm.
and like it's amazing. Like right now, it's like cold, hot, it's icy cold, but there's blossom on the tree. I'm thinking to myself, is that nature or is that something like man is doing? And it's interesting because this is never, I don't think we would ever have had a situation where whole capitalism will stop for us to see.
Yeah,
Is if global warming is real and it's all man, then this is what's happening. We never would have seen it. So this
yeah,
is like a blessing in disguise, as I said
yeah,
yesterday on the podcast, that God's like, right, if you're not gonna listen to me, I'll show you. I'll shut you fucking humans down with your jobs and your money and your bullshit. And see, literally, this is like karma. If there was a God or an angel, it's like, look, this is what's happening. Take this shit seriously because I'm showing you that all you're doing is affecting all of this. And if
yeah.
you don't believe me, I'll just get the flu and kill you all. I mean, it's quite fascinating when you think or imagine there's somebody in charge pulling the strings and how we are all like said told that global warming, we're going to wipe us all out. And then we're like, nah, it's all fine. We'll just keep doing this, doing that. And then this happens. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, I live in Milan, and here we get really bad air quality, and I monitor it through apps. I also like allergic to pollen, and I try to monitor that thing. Um, and now, yeah, we have very pure air, and it's amazing. You can hear birds singing because there is no buzz, as you mentioned. Yeah, that it is a blessing in disguise. Like, of course, it's a terrible situation we live in, but in every bad situation, just trying to make the most of it and look at the bright side. This is the bright side, and this is the moment I hope many of us will realize the impact of the human activity and try to live more sustainable life after that.
Literally, people say that we're on the brinking point of no return, basically. Like, if we keep out
Yeah,
this pattern, then things are going to be irreversible. And isn't it amazing? Like, in terms of the universe, everything happens precisely at the right time, right? It's
yeah,
almost like nothing was really going to change. Okay, Trump, Paris climate agreement, whatever. Nothing was really going to change. And if we'd gone past that point, things would have been irreversible. Like there could have been
yeah,
extreme flooding next year. And the flu has happened at the exact time where we needed to stop. So just to give the nature a reset button, right? Who knows? This reset may be enough for say 10 years of man-made stuff, and then every 10 years we might have a universal reset for a month, for example. Or this might just show us that okay, this is a real thing. But what was I going to say? Everything in life balances out, right?
hmm,
So as much as it's sad that, say, thousands are going to die from the flu, for example, the coronavirus, so many die from like chest infections, lung
I
disease,
know.
lung cancer, cancer from like EMF and energy radiation. So thousands and millions die more from what man is doing
Yeah,
compared to the coronavirus. So actually, you
yeah.
could say the coronavirus is good for the rest of other people. It's almost like you've got to lose one to gain six. You know, um, it's kind of the attitude of war. If you like bomb in a city like in Iran and you've killed, say, a terrorist, say six people would have died there, but that terrorist would have killed 1,000. So yes, it's terrible that those six died, but you've saved 1,000. So it's all about this balance of you got to win some and lose some.
Yeah,
Like
very delicate argument. Yeah,
yeah,
is it
if you like,
just
it's
like
like loads of animals have like a litter of say six animals. Yeah, that's or let's say nine cows. That's because two often die. You know, a
yeah,
litter of
social
puppies,
selection and all
two
that?
die. That's just we're no different. It's just the way it is.
Do you believe people will actually change when this is all over? Do you believe people will actually change their habits and try and be more sustainable
We'll put it
because
this
they've
way.
seen the impact?
Put it this way. I'm somebody who doesn't just believe something just because it's out there, right? I'm
Yeah,
50-50. Okay. I'm skeptical because I can see all the fors and all the against, right? But in a situation like this, I'm a smart person and I want to be wrong so I can be right if I am wrong. So I don't mind being like wrong, right? I thrive to be wrong. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, shit, maybe just car pollution is having such a massive effect that it is causing, for example, clouds above. Because think about it, right? Water changes molecules. Sorry, water changes cells, right?
Mhm.
Negative vibration changes water. What is cloud? It's water. So negative vibration will clump together, cloud. What happens is the cloud stays there, the fumes stay in, and it just creates this pollution and like it sucks it in. So positive vibration penetrates through the moisture and it disperses. So then it goes right up, and then there's no clouds.
Uh,
I
Sorry, go on.
no no no.
I've seen a documentary about water. It's pretty famous, man. Maybe you've seen it too. And the thing that stick to my mind the most was that the music of Mozart was able to change water molecules, the structure of a water molecule, and that's what you're saying right now. Yeah.
Absolutely, and the rice and the monks they prayed for, they meditated at this Chinese stream, and then they froze the water, and it was crystallized. So your question was, do I think people are going to change? I think that the flu has affected, or the coronavirus has affected humans in such a way that they've never ever seen before. That people, it's almost like a near-death experience for everyone. It's so close to home. Like, I believe people only change when they're at the breaking point, right? And this has disrupted everyone's business. Everyone has been impacted. That now, if you said, look at what's happened when we weren't doing all this stuff in terms of global warming and shit. I'm not going to speak about this, but topic. And then people will see like the statistics that during the 4 weeks when we all shut ourselves down, this is what happened. The bees started to pollinate, the birds were tweeting because it fucks up their navigational system. And the water was pure, the coral grew back, and the deaths of say diabetes or asthma at that time was down. If you can put all these statistics in a block when we stop doing all this, you cannot deny that it's because of what we're doing. And then you will see where we were going down. I think everyone will start to work together as a human race, because what I've seen is that people are coming together, they're more friendly, they're smiling, they're happier, because they're almost like looking at each other like, fuck me, the world's coming to an end. And they're sort of, now we give a shit about people, whereas before we were just going down this road of like robotic death, like we didn't care anymore. And it's amazing because, as I said, social media is making us all robots. And again, we're now communicating because it's like everything has happened at the perfect timing. It's like, is there a God? Who the fuck knows? But how can all this be in such perfect timing where we're all on our phones, we're all in our heads, we're now communicating? We weren't listening to the global warming shit. Flu comes and gets us. It's like maybe there is like this amazing God out there that is pulling the strings. Like, I don't believe in God, but it's
It's about the
amazing.
balance of the energy in the universe. Yeah.
Literally, it's like yin and yang. It's so perfectly aligned that when compass goes to there, it's equal there. And obviously, the energy comes back around like cold air, mixes with hot air. Then there's a storm, and then it takes a while to come back here. That's why when there's storms in America, it's
Yeah.
storming in England a few months later because all the air circulates in the water and the oceans. If it's rains there, it takes it from the ocean and it drops it over there. Everything is balanced, and I mean, it's really a fascinating time. I do think that people will change, honestly, because
I really hope so. But I don't.
you know,
No, I mean, I can see a lot of people who cannot wait to get back to normal. And I'm not sure everybody's capable of seeing that bright side we're talking about right now, because they are all, suffering from being closed at home and, not socializing enough. As for me, I've been living through these days in a very positive way because I dedicate time to train, to take care of my body and learn a lot of new online courses and stuff. And I've reconnected with lots of friends that I haven't heard from in a while. And it doesn't matter that I don't actually see them in person. Well, of course, it's nicer to see your friend in person, but if you just hear their voice when you call them or video chat or whatever, it's still a nice experience. And I've done that with some of my friends who haven't talked to me in a while. And I've noticed about the birds, about the nature as well. And but I don't know, it's just humans have repeated the same mistakes throughout history with wars and conflicts and stuff so many times, same mistakes. I don't know if we as a human race will be able to finally reset our minds and think about our planet and take care take more, like, consider it every time we make a decision and try and be more sustainable. I know I will, but I was already, very motivated to do that, and I did what was possible for me and trying to improve. But I don't know, as in general, as people, I'm a bit maybe pessimistic or realistic.
This is the thing, right? People try and change the world, and we think that it's like all humans have to do it for change. Well, it's like you should do things because it makes you feel good. You don't
Yeah,
have to, just because China isn't doing it or Boris Johnson doesn't say you got to do it or your friends aren't doing it. That's irrelevant. If you feel good putting, say, plastic in a recycling bin, because of how it makes you feel in your existence, do it. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. And
I do
yes,
it. I take my responsibility and I
yeah,
do.
your little plastic bottle in the recycling bin isn't probably going to do jack shit for the world, but that's not the point. It's about how you feel with the knowledge you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you become in harmony with your own thoughts. And local stuff, for example, that's happening will have an effect directly above. It will not have an effect in, say, across the world. But if all local places were doing that, then it would seem like it's all the world. When I don't think, for example, what we are doing in England is really going to have any impact in China, but it affects your local surroundings. Like your trees locally are affected by the car fumes here. It's not, well, there's 1.8 billion Indians in India with loads of cars. That's gonna contribute to global warming. It's not global warming. It's just what happens when you do certain things to nature. It's not this global thing. It's like every human around the world, if they do it, it seems like it's global, but it's not. It's what's happening locally, which seems to be a bigger thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also planet is a whole organism. It's there is such thing as global still. I mean, things they do in China, and if they pollute air, the air travels, and the water currents or whatever, animals travel. Some of them get extinct, and that affects in the long run all of the world.
So do you think that's like pissing in a swimming pool, right? It would dilute so much that you won't really find a trace of it. So China, let's just say that China had loads and loads of cars and none of the world had cars.
Hmm.
Could you track the air and track a fume from from Chinese cars? Like, can that air travel this far where you can be like, oh, that's diesel, or that's burnt
Probably not.
petrol?
Probably not. But I don't know. I try to think about our planet as one whole body. And there are scientific researches that prove that, what happens in one place then after some time affects other places because it interrupts the natural cycle or whatever of how things were supposed to go. And like what happens in where the icebergs melt uh, affects the rest of the world.
Oh yeah, everything has a knock-on effect. But if humans don't change right, planting the trees, they say that if you plant X amount of trees, it will give off X amount of oxygen. I think that that is pretty much the only way humans can continue doing what they're doing. Like
Mhm.
we either stop because of what we're doing, and we all have lovely nature and birds and trees, but no one has iPhones and companies don't exist anymore, and we just sort of go back to the tribe days of just local towns, right? Or the alternative is that we need to plant millions of trees around the world to offset the carbon. I think that is a possibility, and that will actually have an impact. That will work. I mean, it might take 10 years for the trees to grow big enough that it has an
Of course.
effect, but that actually is probably, I mean, they're doing it now, right? They're
They
planting
are,
trees around the world,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it
I
does.
see a lot of successful projects, and it gives me hope. And when I can, I participate. And I planted a tree in this local association that were giving, lessons on how to do it properly. And we did it as a group. So it's not like you yourself planted one tree. It was nice to share that experience as well with people who care. But you know what? The most part of the oxygen comes out of the algae in the sea, in the oceans, rather than from the trees. So
Amazing.
we also have to take care of our oceans, which are the most part of our Earth's surface, and most part of the oxygen comes out from there. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But it makes sense because the ocean is exposed to the sun all day, every day,
Yeah.
and heat increases the growth of stuff, and the water magnifies the sun, so it's like gets extra sun, and obviously leaves nature produces oxygen, whatever. So it absolutely makes sense. And if the world's got like 2/3 water, 2/3 algae, then it's not the trees we should be worrying about. It's bloody algae, and then you
Yeah.
know like
But just, clean the sea water from plastic and that shit, and it will recreate the natural algae cycles and, amounts to the proper amounts. And I think we will see a drastic improvement in the air quality.
Yeah, literally, there's going to be such a significance in everything, water, air quality, when all this is over and we go back to normal, because you'll see like the pureness of the oceans, and there's not as much plastic at certain shorelines, because once you like say pick that litter up, if there's no companies working, there's no litter. So for the first time, as we said about the well thing, there's no litter down that stream, so
Yeah.
animals will go down there. I can't believe I'm speaking to you about global warming. I've not done this in 50 podcasts.
Sorry.
But I couldn't resist, because it's like it's not global warming where it's like, do you believe it or not? It's looking at facts and results, which I'm all about. Like
Yeah.
I'm all about results and facts. Like
Mhm.
change my mind because I want to be changed.
Mhm.
I don't see anything as set in stone. I always see for and against for everything.
Of
So
course,
it's not am I religious or not?
critical approach is my choice too. It's the most scientific thing you can do about, reasoning, and it's the right thing to do. Yes.
Yeah, it's not like, do I believe in God? Do I believe in global warming? It's I can see both for and against. So do you believe it or
Hmm.
not? It's not about that. There's for and against, which means there's reasons which I could, reasons which I couldn't. It's just the way it is. It's like conspiracy theories. You can always link up all of like, China, coronavirus bollocks. It all links up, but there's also the alternative, which is that too many chickens together, coughing and spluttering, is obviously going to create flu, and loads of Chinese men in the village with these chickens are going to catch it. Like, there's also that's everything is, as you said, equally for and against. That domino effect left, domino effect right. What's amazing is that nature really can fix itself in such a short amount of time. Like, as you said, the trees and the oceans can repair in literally a few days. Like, I think the dolphin story or whatever it was in 3 days. I
Hmm.
need to actually research this because I heard about it, but that is amazing because I'm all about nature and animals.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, all the birds are tweeting because they've got their compass back.
Yeah.
They're,
And
they know where to go.
there is a swan in the middle of a water channel in the center of Milan. A swan.
Really?
There's never been, like, even ducks don't go there. I mean, the water is pretty pure. The water itself, it's transparent. I can see it. There are these very ancient water channels in Milan that were actually built by Leonardo da Vinci. He did a project, and they used them to ship marble to build Duomo, the main cathedral in the center of Milan. And two of these water channels are still there because others were covered. And yeah, they constantly now post pictures of this swan that's been living there.
Hang on, I've just had a realization of something. You know Stonehenge,
Yes.
right? So I've been listening to YouTube videos and they were saying about how they found the frequency of the rock and they then made that same frequency in terms of sound, like
Hmm.
telekinesis, where the rock started to move and they moved it along because apparently it came from Wales, and Somerset and Wales are like hundreds of miles apart. I've just had a realization based on what you said. What if, for example, Stonehenge, where it is, was underwater and they literally took the rock from the ocean and sort of moved it along. So, for example, rocks float. I mean, obviously they would sink if it's heavy enough, but I'm sure that certain rocks, if the ocean is deep enough, will float, right? What if the rocks from Wales, it was all water, and they pushed the rock or they pulled it along in a wooden boat, right? And
Hmm.
now they pushed the rock to the bottom of the ocean, and this rock that was on top, they sort of pushed it on top, right? So now it's sitting on top of each other, and then the water dries up, and now you're left with a rock on top of a rock. Think about that. I've just worked that out myself.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory. Don't you think they would have been able to detect traces of ocean like life, even if it was thousands of years ago?
Hang on, also think about the pyramids, right? You know
Yeah.
how there is pyramids underwater, under the ice age, under snow. Like there's
No.
pyramids. See, if you Google it,
Uh-huh.
there's a pyramid right now, which is because of its melting icebergs, or whatever. There's
Uh-huh.
a pyramid that was in like the Antarctic or something. So if you look
Right.
at it like that and imagine that that is technically underwater before it froze, what
Yes.
if the humans didn't build the pyramids on land? What if they built it underwater and they simply were just moving rocks? Because let's say the rocks sink. Well, they are sinking. You line them all up. Next rocks. Line them all up. Next rocks. Line them all up. Like,
Who
just
knows?
imagine
Yeah.
that that is how
Yeah.
it happened. Like, we sort of think, okay, well, how can you carry these rocks and then put them on top of each other? But if you think about underwater, it will sink anyway, and the weight will pull it down. Maybe everything was under. Maybe that was how they did it. Like,
Maybe.
I'm.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Right. Let's. We've got about 5 minutes left. What shall we
Okay.
end it on?
um, I have a music question for you. What was
Okay.
the most beautiful, exciting top three concerts you've ever seen? Or if you like concerts, because
I do like concerts. I've not actually seen many concerts, but the Royal Albert Hall in London when I was younger with my school, I think I went there and we watched this orchestra thing, and they were playing like modern orchestra, so The Simpsons they were playing. Like so
Ooh.
that was amazing. But um I love all like that type of music, opera, orchestra stuff. It's just
Mhm.
again, life's so busy doing so much other stuff.
Of
It's
course.
like, well, if it's not my five things that I enjoy the most, it's like, well, it will just wait and then life just passes on. So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I should book myself into a little orchestra thing in London. Spread all the
The-
corona shit sorts itself out.
you know, the moment I enjoy a lot in orchestra performances is the just before they are about to start, like they tune all the instruments.
Yes, I love that. The live.
It's like, to me, it's a performance in itself because
Yes,
everybody there,
absolutely.
they are tuning their own instrument and are not in sync or whatever, but all
Yes.
together it sounds amazing.
Yes, I watch pantomime at Christmas with my family, and
Hmm.
the pantomime, like a Christmas show, whatever, and they're all at the bottom of the stage. He's going, and he's like getting warmed up, and then all of a sudden he goes, and they start coming in together, and it's like, and it's like, wow, all this like sounds individually, and they suddenly go 1, 2, 3, 4, and they all come in. Oh, it's amazing. You're right. It's a show itself because it's like behind the scenes stuff that you wouldn't normally see. I love
Yeah,
that shit as well.
yeah, yeah. But wait, so they did an intro where they played randomly and then slowly, gradually they passed on to being in sync?
Right,
Did
so
I
they,
understand?
they they tried all their instruments individually, and
Uh-huh.
then the orchestra man goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they all came in with the intro. But I'm
That's
saying
so
like it seemed
cool.
like its own show beforehand because
I know,
it's
yeah.
like an inside. It's like when you see the bloopers behind a film set.
Yes.
Suddenly
Yes.
realize there's so many crew, and it's just like so much stuff you don't see. That's why I
Yes.
love all that. Like
Yes.
it's almost like podcasting. That's why I like it because you see real stuff. I don't edit any of my shit. And so you look at films, it's all editing. And actually, the bloopers are the best bit, in my opinion, because it's like exclusive stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you don't see real stuff that happens because it's all fake. And this is a real conversation that even if you were down a pub, for example, you wouldn't be snooping on someone's conversation for an hour. So anytime you'd speak to somebody about this stuff, as if you're actually that person being spoken to, and even
Mhm.
then, you're lucky to get an hour without somebody going on their phone or having to go and pick the kid up from school or some
Yeah.
other guy like, hey,
Yes.
are you single? I'm like, fuck off! I'm speaking about aliens. They're like, sorry, what were we speaking about? Oh, I don't know. And then the conversation's dead.
Yeah. And on that note,
Yeah.
aliens, I like that.
Do you wanna plug anything before we say bye? Websites, podcasts, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel as
Social media.
well. It's now understandably it's about music. That's why my question was about music. I go to like music festivals, concerts, and I do music technology reviews. I'm still like searching.
I'm
Yeah.
still searching.
Yeah. It was really nice to talk to you.
So
Nice chat.
mention
Yes.
like mention your Instagram or anything, like the YouTube channel, whatever, if you want.
Yeah, so my name is Dilla London on all of the social platforms. YouTube and Instagram are the ones that I follow the most to put content on. So yeah.
Just quickly, what next social media do you think is going to be the big one? Do you reckon it's going to be TikTok?
Oh, it seems so, but it makes me so sad. I'm too old for that shit.
Okay, I'm just going to press stop and I'm going to say goodbye at the end, all right?
Yeah,
So
okay.